Welcome to today's Explainer. We're taking that heart-pounding, stressful threat of a disaster and turning it into an empowering, step-by-step blueprint for saving your goldfish. If you keep fish, you already know the deal. They rely entirely on us for their life support. When the power goes out or illness strikes, the clock starts ticking immediately. But by the end of our time together today, you're going to know exactly what the absolute best goldfish emergency survival kits look like, and more importantly, how to use them. Picture this, because it's a terrifying but incredibly common scenario. It's 9 p.m., you glance at your tank, notice your fish is sick, and you just rush to the big box store in an absolute panic. You end up buying some generic all-in-one herbal remedies simply because you weren't prepared. As our sources point out, most of that stuff on the shelf, it either just doesn't work or it's way too weak to save a dying fish. The key to avoiding that late-night panic is preparation. So here's our game plan for today. We're going to build a master survival kit in 5 parts. When disaster strikes, power outage survival gear, the evacuation grab-and-go kit, goldfish first aid essentials, and the hospital tank setup.
All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, when disaster strikes, preparing for the unpredictable.
Whether it's a sudden power outage or a massive summer storm, when the environment fails, your fish are literally sitting ducks. If you see your goldfish gaping right at the water's surface, you've got to act immediately. That surfacing, it means they're absolutely starved for oxygen because your life support systems, your filters and pumps are offline. Now, your strategy has to completely shift depending on the emergency. Short-term power loss? Your immediate fix is to just agitate that water surface manually. But if you have advanced warning of a long-term disaster, like a hurricane rolling in, you actually want to stop feeding your fish 2 to 3 days prior. I know it sounds a bit harsh, but fasting cuts down organic waste, which stops lethal, invisible ammonia from building up in unfiltered water. Because of that, the real pro move here is to perform a massive 50% water change right before a known power loss. Combined with fasting your fish, you're guaranteeing they start this ordeal with the absolute best possible water quality. It buys you so much precious time. Moving right along to Section 2, Power Outage Survival Gear, keeping the oxygen flowing. Let's talk hardware. If you want to keep your exact tank running smoothly when the grid goes down, you're looking at a portable power station or a battery backup. According to our sources, to run the essentials like your filters and heaters, you'll typically need somewhere between 150 and 600 watts of capacity, depending on the size of your tank. And hey, always choose a unit with about 20 to 30% extra juice to handle those electrical surges when your equipment cycles on. But what if a big portable generator isn't in the cards? No worries. A simple, battery-operated air pump is an absolute lifesaver. Unless you're keeping labyrinth fish that can gulp air right from the surface, your fish cannot survive in still, unfiltered water for more than a few hours. These little portable aerators will literally keep your fish from suffocating. So here are your blackout action items for the kit. First up, the second the power flickers, physically unplug your equipment. You do not want a power surge frying your electronics when the grid comes back online. Always use surge protectors and have backup heaters and filters ready to go. Oh, and here's a wild emergency trick. If you have no aerator, you can gradually mix in 1 milliliter of hydrogen peroxide per gallon of tank water. Believe it or not, that gives you roughly 24 hours of emergency dissolved oxygen. All right, Section 3, the evacuation grab-and-go kit, leaving in a hurry. Sometimes hunkering down just isn't an option. For a fast, safe getaway, you need to pair a lightweight plastic travel tank with a massive, high-quality fish net. Look, during an evacuation, stress is high, time is short. You literally cannot afford to waste precious minutes chasing a terrified pet around a giant aquarium with a tiny net. Get a net big enough to scoop them up on the very first try. Alongside that travel tank, you're going to want a dedicated, collapsible water jug packed with at least a 3-day supply of clean, treated water. You'll need this to refill the travel tank or replace anything that spills during transit. Toss in a small bottle of water conditioner and a 3 to 7 day vacation food feeder, and boom, your evacuation kit is perfectly complete. Now for Section 4, Goldfish First Aid Essentials, your cabinet of cures. This medical kit is what's going to replace those useless, generic, store-bought remedies with precise, targeted treatments that actually save lives. Here is your exact shopping list. You want pure aquarium salt or pickling salt with 0 additives for injuries, Epsom salt for swelling, grab some green peas for constipation, active carbon for sudden water poisoning, a reliable liquid test kit, and, this is crucial, a highly accurate digital scale so you can weigh out medications perfectly down to the 10th of a gram. So how do we use this? Let's walk through an emergency salt bath procedure step by step. Salt is basically the oldest fish medicine on the books, but if you mess it up, it can be lethal. The recipe? Dilute exactly 1 teaspoon of pure salt in a 1/4 cup of warm water. Then, mix that into 1 gallon of treated water that perfectly matches your main tank's temperature. Bathe your goldfish in there for just 1 to 3 minutes, monitoring them constantly. If they look severely stressed, pull them out immediately.
Finally, we arrive at Section 5, the hospital tank setup, the road to recovery. To really get your fish back on their fins, you need a dedicated hospital tank for a 14-day treatment plan. Run this setup with a gentle sponge filter. It gives you vital aeration without the risk of sucking up a weak, sick fish. And keep the environment dimly lit. This isn't just to keep your fish's metabolic rate low, it's actually because a lot of fish medications are highly light sensitive and will literally break down and become completely useless under bright aquarium lids.
Oh, and this is absolutely critical to remember. You have to strip out any chemical filtration during this time. Things like active carbon are fantastic if toxins get in the water, but in a hospital tank, they will accidentally filter out and neutralize the exact medicine you're pouring in to save your fish. Because at the end of the day, the ultimate goal is a vibrant, healthy goldfish swimming happily. And you achieve that by taking control before disaster strikes, stepping up as their doctor, their janitor, and their protector all at once. True preparedness turns what could be a deadly disaster into just a minor, simple inconvenience. We've mapped out exactly what you need to build the ultimate goldfish emergency survival kit. So I want to leave you with this question to think about. If the grid went out tonight at 9 p.m., or you noticed weird white spots on your favorite fish, is your kit ready to go today? Thanks for hanging out with me for this explainer, and I'll catch you on the next one.